my name is Heather Smith. Welcome to Cloud Stories, a podcast exploring the accounting and business app community. Today's episode is all about WorkFlowMax and the retirement of WorkFlowMax by Xero and what is happening, what people are doing, and what your options are. This is going to be a super long episode. So if WorkFlowMax is something on your horizon, then it should be hopefully very useful. If it's not something that you come across, well, maybe it's not something, one of the episodes you need to listen into. So let me explain what's going to happen. WorkFlowMax is a project management software founded in 2007 by Chris Spence and Gavin George, a job management solution for Gavin's brother's Steelcraft Engineering business. WorkFlowMax was acquired by Xero in May 2012, and in March 2023, almost 11 years later, Xero announced that they have decided to retire WorkFlowMax, or WFM, on the 26th of June 2024. So WorkFlowMax is completely separate solution to Xero Practice Manager, or XPM. And so Xero Practice Manager and Xero Tax will not be impacted by this. So I have written a blog post that accompanies this podcast, and all the relevant links are on that blog post. So what I'm going to share with you today is an interview with Matthew Peng, who is the founder of Business Continuum. He is a cloud integrator, an independent solution advisor, and works a lot with a number of, he partners with WorkFlowMax, so he is going to have to look at helping his clients move from WorkFlowMax to another solution. And he shares with you, if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper who is not wanting to do this, how you could use his services or services like him. And I also speak with Cassandra Scott, who some may call the queen of WorkFlowMax. She is from Loris Bookkeeping, and she knows everything that there is to know about this solution. And she talks about what you as a bookkeeper or accountant need to be thinking about. So you've kind of have those two great rounded perspectives there. And then I have gone to all of the solutions that are possible options for you. WorkFlowMax, the brand, was purchased by BlueRock, and I have already released an episode, a podcast episode with Peter Laylaw from BlueRock, so you can go back and listen to it. It's only about 20 minutes long, and they are going to be building out a solution that is a potential replacement for the 12,000 existing WorkFlowMax clients. But there are other solutions out there as well. So at the end of this podcast, I'm going to read through, outline all of the other solutions. And what I did was I had a set of questions, and I asked them all of those questions, and I'm going to read out their responses. You can go to my document on my website to read this as well. And hopefully that will move you further down the journey of deciding what to do in this situation. So some of the options I'm going to talk through are WorkGuru, MinuteDoc, Gacon, ACCON, Ascora, ASCORA, ProjectWorks, and Acello. So they're the options I'm going to read through. So you may find part of the episode useful, but you don't necessarily need to listen to the end part of that, or you may want to listen to everything. Who knows? But hopefully you find it useful. As always, can I encourage you to sign up to my newsletter, which you can find at heathersmithau.com. And let's start off initially here with the interview with Matthew Peng. Hello, Matthew Peng. Welcome to Cloud Stories. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Heather. Thanks for having me.
So, initially, can I ask you who you are, where you work, and what you do?
Sure. So I started Business Continuum about 9 years ago, effectively offering cloud integration services. Trained accountant and have been working amongst the accounting software space prior to starting my own business for about 10 years.
So I've been cyber stalking you on LinkedIn, and we have some overlap in that we both worked at MYOB.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually my first job out of university.
Wow, very good. And I was an MYOB trainer for many years up here in Brisbane.
That's right.
So it is interesting how worlds keep colliding in different places.
Sure.
So can you tell me a bit more about what Business Continuum does?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started Business Continuum, it was really to help with the explosion in cloud applications integrating with Xero. Businesses struggling to actually find and match the right applications for their needs, and often they didn't have the right resources internally to be able to drive the change and drive the project, especially about to utilize all the capabilities of the software. Many clients I speak to, when they implement software, they feel like they're only using about 30%, whether that's because they only want to use 30% to begin with and never unlock the rest of the capability. So I take a very holistic business approach, understand what they're trying to achieve end to end, and then interpret that into software for them.
So can you talk to me about how you support accountants and bookkeepers when they're working with their own clients?
Yeah, I think when I work with accountants and bookkeepers, more often than not, they have an intimate understanding of clients and work with clients that do various tasks very, very manually, and feel that and perhaps marketed to that there are efficiency gains to be had, whether it be reporting capabilities, CRM and invoicing, inventory management. And so they will often present me a problem they feel is unique to that business, but more often than not, those businesses are actually struggling with the change and struggling with moving away from a manual system. So they don't want to get involved in all the drama, the politics, or the messy detail. So they'll often refer me in to actually take a look and offer some guidance and advice, and then perhaps leading to an ultimate project.
So you're the expert that accountants and bookkeepers need in their corner?
Yeah, I think so. They're so busy as is, doing various types of compliance and so forth, that they know the clients are in need, and they just need some advice and guidance, and they're happy to sort of bring me in.
So you do a lot of work, and appears to have done a lot of work in the WorkFlowMax space. What are your thoughts on the recent announcement?
It's an interesting shake-up. I would say, having been a partner for well over 8 years, that it was perhaps trending down in terms of adoption, and I think it's probably about time to have a bit of a change of the guard, to sort of reinvigorate the space and perhaps innovate in that space. I think WorkFlowMax has been a fantastic application for a lot of businesses who just need the rigor or some level of structure that spreadsheets just cannot provide. So it's been really a really important application to accompany a lot of professional service-based businesses, but it's probably now time to grow up and try something else.
So we understand that we have like an 18-month sunset period. What conversation are you having with your clients at the moment who are currently on WorkFlowMax, or I understand you've even got some clients who are about to actually go into a WorkFlowMax implementation? Yeah,
that's right. We've got about less than half a dozen clients that are in the transition phase to WorkFlowMax, and we're really leaving it up to the clients to decide For some of them, they still want to make the push into a platform like WorkFlowMax, and after 3-6 months of using the system, will they kind of know what needs and requirements their business might grow into next. So I actually support that type of approach where they're still at the infancy stage of using the system, and WorkFlowMax is a really good graduating step from, say, spreadsheets and manual processes. For existing clients, there's certainly opportunity to introduce more capabilities now that they've perhaps been doing on the side still, or have been sort of managing in another cloud application but separate to, say, WorkFlowMax. So there's opportunity to sort of find solutions that might be multi-purpose or more of an all-in-one type platform. So it's really exciting for them because they've got an opportunity to refresh their IT strategy.
So accountants and bookkeepers are out in the community globally, and they may well have their clients sitting on WorkFlowMax, and they may have a relationship with you and business continuing, or they may not. What would you say to those accountants and bookkeepers?
Wow.
What should they be saying to their clients? What conversations should they start now with their clients?
Wow, that's a really big question. I think there's so many different types of it's actually really good as a conversation starter, just to say, being in the professional service space, whether you use WorkFlowMax or you don't, there's always going to be an opportunity to implement and introduce software. The news of it sort of be retiring is secondary to the advantages of using a tool, fit-for-purpose tool for your business. I don't think the conversation necessarily changes, but it definitely should be definitely a good time if it's creating some noise amongst the client base. An opportunity just to open up the possibility of exploring what system opportunities or changeovers could be undertaken by that business.
So, ideally, we want the accountants and bookkeepers to contact someone like you to make the whole process streamless. But if they're not at that stage yet, what are some solutions that you would look to having them talk about? Or you suggest they look at, they have on their radar?
Sure. I probably would take an approach with accountants and bookkeepers and look at businesses that are either doing things still in spreadsheets, in paper form or manual forms, where there is potentially a lot of duplication of steps. Those are often the best client candidates for innovation and change through software. I always say to clients directly who are using spreadsheets are a fantastic solution when you're a brand new business and you're forming what you want to actually capture. It's a great modeling tool, but it should never be the final destination. So with that in mind, they then start to think about what can I be doing to provide rigor and provide uniformity to report over the performance of the business, and Excel just won't do that for them.
Absolutely. So the accountants and bookkeepers are out there. They know WorkFlowMax is retiring or has been sunsetted. What are some solutions out there that should be on their radar that they should take a look at or be aware of, start doing some research on?
Sure. As a WorkFlowMax IT setup partner or cloud integrator for many years, I have come across many clients, perhaps who are a bit larger than WorkFlowMax could potentially cater for. And one of the solutions that I've been supporting for a very long time is a product called Xero. It is a multi-entity, multi-currency platform for enterprises that might have multiple offices, multiple trading entities, and in different countries. So I've really enjoyed working with that as a customizable platform for larger enterprise businesses. When it comes to sort of smaller operations, I would say that there are smart solutions available now. I know there's a solution in market that's in beta that I'm working with on the side called Olio. But beyond that, if you still look at the likes of Traderfire for the smaller sort of field-based clients, but as a compete to WorkFlowMax, it certainly is a viable solution for that makeup of business. Putting me on the spot with other sort of professional service sort of solutions, creative agencies, Streamtime. Really, I'd say when you're shopping around for a solution, being really clear on if it can meet or tick certain boxes. Like, for instance, a really clear differentiator for me is, can that software solution support my billing model, whether it's retainer, fixed priced, or time and cost. If it can't confidently or elegantly match my billing requirements, then it should somewhat be excluded. So there are some things that I look for. There's too many solutions in market to sort of to pick, but I have my favourites.
Absolutely. And initially that first solution you said Scoro is SCORO. And the other solution that you mentioned there, Streamline, my web designer actually uses, and it bills me really quickly. Every time she has a conversation with me, that invoice arrives, and I celebrate that she is such a fast invoicer, and I love that she does that, because it makes me actually go back and ask her more questions, because I'm not abusing her time. So we're here. You've flown up to Brisbane from Melbourne for the Work Guru training workshop day. What have you seen today that you've liked?
I really came for the connection with the partner base to learn about some additional use cases that they've been using Work Guru in. The more and more I see its capability, the more applicability I can see from my client base. So it's an education piece for me, most certainly. Having had the chance to demonstrate it and implement it for a few clients with Work Guru, I'm now starting to see more and more application and applicability to my client base.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew, so much for talking with me today and joining us on the Cloud Stories podcast. How can our listeners get in contact with you?
Well, you can follow us on LinkedIn, Business Continuum, or you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or you can connect with me personally as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Heather.
Awesome. Cassandra Scott, welcome back to the Cloud Stories podcast, one of our most popular guests ever.
Heather Smith, thank you for having me. How are you?
Very good, very good. Well, we're here at River City Labs, the precinct, at a workshop, but I'm very keen to talk to you about the recent news about WorkFlowMax. You have been a long-term, I believe, advocate and user of WorkFlowMax. When did it first come into your world?
Yeah, we actually started using WorkFlowMax back in probably 2013 as a practice management tool, when WorkFlowMax was used as the practice management tool for bookkeeping and accounting practices. So we've seen the transition from WorkFlowMax to XPM, and then the divergence from XPM and WorkFlowMax into two completely separate platforms. And very early on in the piece, we actually became WorkFlowMax partners because we had clients that needed the job management functionality. And it was just a natural progression of us using it as a practice to manage our workflows and our jobs, to starting to talk to clients about managing their jobs and their workflows. And that was the solution that we worked with. We became subject matter experts on it and have worked with a large number of clients over the years on WorkFlowMax implementing, but also going in and actually fixing up issues from prior people that have self-integrated or have used other services to do it.
Absolutely. And you actually raise a really good point there, in that WorkFlowMax is now, the data within it, it's completely separated now from XPM now.
It is, yeah. They're two separate development platforms, and there's no overlap. So if they update something in XPM, it doesn't update in WorkFlowMax, and vice versa.
So as someone who has had such a sort of close relationship with the solution, it must be almost a bit sad to hear that it's being sunsetted.
Yeah, look, it is a bit sad, but I think from my perspective, I don't think it's a bad decision from Xero's point of view. One of the challenges I think Xero's been faced with over the years has been stepping into other product streams that aren't their core product. And I like the fact that they're not project management specialists, they're accounting solution specialists. And if that gives them an opportunity to focus more back on the accounting solution, I think that's fabulous. And let the job management and the workflow management step away from that. So whilst it's a little bit sad to see it go, I think it's actually a really, really smart solution. And I'm looking forward to seeing where Xero goes as a consequence of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and a lot of people in the community are very keen to see product development happen within the core solution. So there's many accountants and bookkeepers out there who have this news come across their table, their iPad, etc. What would you say to them? What do they need to be thinking about now?
Yeah.
And what do they need to be talking to their clients about?
Yeah, well, I think what you've got to look at firstly is the timeframes that we're talking about and the cessation or the deprecation of WorkFlowMax. So they're talking about mid-June 2024. They've obviously sold the product to Blue Rock, but I think the important thing to understand there is they've actually not sold the platform, they've sold the product name. So Blue Rock are going to be developing a product from scratch, is my understanding. But I think as accountants and bookkeepers working with clients that are utilising it at the moment as a job management solution, we need to be looking now at what the alternative solutions may be for our clients. Because if we all start doing that in December, January, February timeframes, that's not actually going to leave a lot of room for closure of WorkFlowMax. And certainly with the volume, I can name, I think we've got 16 clients already without even thinking about it, that we're going to be starting to have those conversations with. And I don't want to be dealing with that in a rush in February, March, April next year, particularly on top of all of the other compliance requirements that we've got just by being a bookkeeping practice. And similarly from accounting practices, I can't imagine them wanting to focus on that in mid-May next year when tax season reaches its peak. So now's the time to really start reviewing your clients, reviewing how they're utilising it, what their functional requirements are, and then looking out and assessing the marketplace to find a best fit for that client.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can be something that's done internally within their own business, or they can sort of connect with a cloud integrator potentially. Yeah,
and look, to be honest, I think there's some really good opportunities. In these sorts of situations, there is always opportunity that comes out of it. We're looking to position ourselves as a practice that can support clients transitioning from WorkFlowMax to other products, whatever they may be. I know there's a number of other solutions out there that are starting to consider how they best take WorkFlowMax data and bring it into their solutions. So I think there's a really great opportunity to step into a really strong advisory space, which is something that as bookkeepers we talk about often but don't necessarily action. And this is a great opportunity, particularly I think for the bookkeeping community, to really start to develop a skill set and value add to your clients, but also another revenue stream for your practice as well.
Completely agree. Great opportunity, specifically and especially in the bookkeeping community, because they are so detail orientated, and many of them can wrap their head inside out, upside down with these solutions. They can really, really learn them really well. And the bonus is the clients who use these solutions have money, so they can pay you and you can charge more.
They do, but I think the other advantage that bookkeepers have is that very often they're embedded heavily in the fine detail of a business's day-to-day operations. So you're not just stepping into a business and actually providing services to it once every quarter or once every year. Bookkeepers are often in the weeds. They're working in their day-to-day. They're often working within the systems that are being used. So they've got a really deep and organic understanding of how a business operates, what the business's pain points are, what workflows do they need to optimise, and that puts them in a really, really good position to to be able to identify these solutions that are now going to be potentially a best fit for clients. So I think historically a number of clients have jumped onto WorkFlowMax because it has been a lower cost solution, but it's not necessarily always been fit for purpose. So there's been a lot of hacks or workarounds implemented, or an acceptance that there's a lack of functionality because of the price point. I think there's a really, really good opportunity to revisit that now, and there's some really smart products out in the market.
I'm really excited for the bookkeeping and the accounting community because of this opportunity. And I think there's a lot of people who've been bruised by the last 2 years, and this is a real opportunity to maybe shake it up and set your own path and set your own journey. So with that, saying that there's a lot of smart solutions out there, would you like to talk about any solutions that people should have on their radar at the moment?
Look, to be honest, we're actually looking at WorkGuru as a solution, and we've been looking at WorkGuru as a solution for our WorkFlowMax clients even before we got the news around WorkFlowMax. It's been in the market for 8 years, and WorkFlowMax really hasn't had a lot of love. So it's opened up an opportunity for other solutions, and WorkGuru is one of those, to step in and actually develop a product that plugs the holes that were the deficiencies in WorkFlowMax. So we've already been identifying with our clients that WorkFlowMax was not necessarily fit for purpose, or that now there were better solutions out there, and WorkGuru is actually one of the products that we're focusing on very heavily at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we're actually at the precinct. In fact, we're on the stage where you actually spoke.
Deja vu.
This is the stage that Cassandra spoke at in 2019. Pre-Xero Con,
yeah.
The pre-con that I organised. I just realised that was with Nick Holdsworth and Brian Williams.
It was, and I'm terribly remiss. I can't even remember what we talked about, which is terrible.
I've got lots of lovely photos, and you did a great job. And we had a full. That was a really fun day.
It was.
So with that, we're here at the precinct, and we're actually at the WorkGuru workshop day. Is there anything about today that has taken your interest, taken your eye?
Look, I think one of the things that's really appealing is these guys are already starting to develop the tool to move data from WorkFlowMax into their solution. So anything that automates and simplifies the process for me is absolutely gold, and I'll just grab it with both hands.
Absolutely. Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to share with the accounting and bookkeeping community? And with that, if you can share how people can get in contact with you.
Yeah, sure. Look, I think now's a really perfect opportunity to review what's going on with your clients. Don't leave it too late, otherwise you're just going to hit the big walls. And look, who knows what the ATO or anybody else is going to throw at us in the next 18 months anyway, in terms of changes to whatever. So the sooner you can touch base on it, I think the better for you and the better for your clients as well. It also means your clients aren't necessarily going to be seduced by somebody else who's perhaps doing that when you're not. So be the person that they need to go to. If anybody wants to chat to me further about it, laurasbookkeeping.com.au or bookkeepers@lauras.com.au. Always happy to chat further and see how we can assist.
And I'd also highlight, if you are a bookkeeper in practice, make sure you join Cassandra's Bookkeeper in Practice Facebook group, Australian Bookkeeper in Practice Facebook group.
Bookkeepers in Practice Australia Facebook group. There we go.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining me on the Cloud Stories podcast, Cassandra.
Thanks, Heather. It's a pleasure.
Hi, I hope you found both those interviews useful. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to go through a list of questions and the responses from each of the different solutions that I have so far. So initially I'm going to start with WorkGuru. Let's start with an overview of WorkGuru. WorkGuru is a project management and job costing solution aimed at the SME market. With an enormous range of features and simple to use interface, we've got you covered for everything you loved about WorkFlowMax and more. In addition to WorkFlowMax's base feature set, we also offer stock control, unlimited custom fields, foreign currency support, progress claim invoices, pivot table reporting, custom dashboards, integrated payments, which are coming in March, but we're in April, so they should be out by now, and much, much more. Tony Harcourt is updating, posting regular LinkedIn updates of the integration that they've been building out. So you can connect with him there or connect with the WorkGuru team. The WorkGuru works in construction, engineering, architecture, manufacturing, fabrication, workshops, professional services, and if you need to track time against a job, we could be a good fit unless you're in the list below. WorkGuru doesn't work for residential trades, lawyers, or accountants. So is not a good fit for those industries. How many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution will take? If you're on WorkFlowMax currently, a migration could easily be done in a few days, assuming that your data is clean. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? Yes, we have a set of custom reports you can build in WorkFlowMax to import into WorkGuru, and by next week we'll have an API-based data migration tool. They have that now, I believe, and they've been posting that the data migration is just taking them seconds. What migration budget should people allow for? Depending on the amount of help they need, it can be free to do it yourself or $2,500 for a remote assistance package, or they have partners ready to help. What's the ongoing price range? $30 per user per month, minimum 5 users. Can you support a migration or do you have a partner program? Both. We have partners all over the country ready, willing and able to help. What solutions does it integrate with? Xero, Tanda, EasyBills, QBO, MYOB, Asana, Google Drive, Dropbox. Dropbox has been released in April. What details are pushed into the accounting solution? Into Xero, everything from bills, invoices, COGS, timesheets, credit notes, stock takes, stock adjustments, payments, everything. Okay, so that's workguru.io. So now we move on to MinuteDoc. MinuteDoc is a time tracking and billing platform that helps users accurately record their work hours, track progress against different projects, clients, job categories, and turn their time entries into invoice billing. I personally have been using MinuteDoc for the past decade, and it's possibly a sort of a simpler, straightforward solution, and I strategically partner with them. So what industries does it work for? It's designed, MinuteDoc is designed to work best for office-based professional teams who want to track specific detail about the work they're performing, as well as businesses which bill by time-based charges, accountants, bookkeepers, lawyers, project managers, virtual assistants, and any other business that finds MinuteDoc a good fit. MinuteDoc doesn't work for industries wanting a more clock-in, clock-out style of tracking, or businesses not interested in detailed time entry tracking in the specific task jobs being worked on. How many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution would take? Migration can be done within a couple of days. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? Our support team can help importing WorkFlowMax data, which is applicable to using in MinuteDoc. So the applicable data they can support you in taking across. What migration budget should people allow for? Support for migration onboarding will incur no additional costs. What is the ongoing price range? Monthly or annual subscription starts at $19 per month as a freelancer, with added users working at around $9 per month for extra users. Can you support a migration or do you have a partner program? The support team are able to assist with migrating. The partner program is designed primarily to help accountants and bookkeepers manage access to their clients' MinuteDoc accounts, letting partners give our free trials and view client accounts under the partner dashboard. What solutions does MinuteDoc integrate with? Xero, QuickBooks, MYOB, FreshBooks, and Wave. What details are pushed into the accounting solution? Maybe Xero, QuickBooks, MYOB, etc. MinuteDoc draws through and syncs your client contacts with the accounting software, and you can create and push through drafted invoices to the accounting system, which you create using MinuteDoc timekeeping data. Okay, so that's MinuteDoc. G-Acon can connect to the data in WorkFlowMax, allowing you to download it into Google Sheets and then use it in that format, or where relevant, import it into XPM. So it's not a replacement for WorkFlowMax, but a tool for migrating WorkFlowMax data to XPM. Okay, so G-Acon is a strategic partner of mine. So I strategically partner with WorkGuru, MinuteDoc, and G-Acon. So they all do different things, but are all options here. So G-Acon, to give you an overview of what it is, Google Sheets integration for WorkFlowMax and XPM. Both applications share the same data structure data tables with almost identical API. That's why they combine the two products into one. Some of the features are they can connect Google Sheets to multiple WorkFlowMax or XPM accounts, extract data from XPM or WorkFlowMax into Google Sheets using flexible templates, upload data to WorkFlowMax or XPM directly from Google Sheets, create new or update existing records, automate data extraction uploads, send automatic email notifications with real-time data reports, and schedule backups in Google Drive to keep historical data snapshots. Industries this solution suits is anyone who's using WorkFlowMax or Xero Practice Manager. What industries does the solution not work with? That's not really applicable. How many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution will take? It takes minutes to install G-Acon and connect to WorkFlowMax or XPM. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? Yes. It makes it easy to transform data between the two products. What migration budget should people allow for? So their starting is the cost of G-Acon starts at $40 per month for 5 companies included. I suspect that might be American dollars. Okay. The other dollars, I'm not sure actually what the other dollars I was quoting. WorkGuru would have been Australian. I will need to go back and check on those. But it kind of gives you an idea of what they would be. Can you support a migration, or do you have a partner program? Yes, they have a partner program. What solutions does it integrate with? Xero, QuickBooks, FreshBooks, Sage Accounting, WorkFlowMax, and Xero Practice Manager. Okay, and then they've got lots more details of what details push across into the accounting solution. Okay, so now on to Ascora. So this is ASCORA, and this is not the solution that Matthew Peng mentioned, which was Scora, which was SCORO. But for now, we've got Ascora. Ascora is a completed end-to-end job management platform targeted to trades and construction businesses. Ascora handles all aspects of trade businesses from initial inquiry, quoting, scheduling jobs, SWMs, and electronic forms, and invoicing with integrations to your accounting and payroll packages. In addition, we can record equipment maintenance, generate progress claims, and factor in retentions as needed. Ascora can also do booking reminders and automatic follow-ups on quotes, jobs, and invoices. Ascora provides GPS tracking solution, enabling clients to track their fleet for vehicles, and have a native apps in iOS and Android to give both power and flexibility to the field staff, and support an offline mode, meaning that Ascora doesn't require an internet connection to operate. What industries does the solution work with? Our key audience are industries with a workforce out in the field. This includes the various construction trades, including electrical, plumbing, HVAC, landscaping, fire services, locksmiths, and many more. What industries does it not work with? Generally businesses that are 100% workshop-based without any field staff. How many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution will take? Migration can be done easily within a few days, dependent upon the data. So again, probably wanting clean data. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? Yes, we can process WorkFlowMax exported database and process the data. What migration budget should people allow for? We have packages that include data migration and 6 weeks of training to set up a business for success with Ascora starting at $3,000. What is the ongoing price range? Our pricing starts at $35 for unlimited office staff and $35 per mobile field user. Can you support a migration or do you have a partner program? Both. We have partners across Australia and New Zealand. What solutions does your solution integrate with? They integrate with, so many of them actually. Xero, MYOB, QuickBooks, eWay, Stripe, MasterCard for credit card payments, GroundPlan for takeoffs and estimating, Reese for updated product catalogues, natively import PDF Excel invoices from approximately 350 suppliers, and Easy Bills for additional supplier invoice processing. What details are pushed into the accounting solution? We have full integration into the various accounting packages. We push across supplier and customers as needed, or link to existing ones. We will push across AR from invoice claims as a scorer along with any received payments. Payments are a two-way sync and also pulled from the accounting systems as needed. We also push across supplier invoices along with the associated PDF image copy of the bill. And a scorer also integrates with payroll in MYOB and Xero to push across timesheets. It has natively has timesheet rule processing. A scorer has full reconciliation reports that compare a scorer and the accounting packages, so you know the two systems are balanced and can fix options that can automatically balance the systems in the majority of cases. Okay. And with all of these solutions, I have provided links to the videos on the article that I mentioned. And then we have projectworks.io. Projectworks.io predominantly supports companies in software services, management consulting, engineering, architecture, cybersecurity, digital agencies, and other specialized consultancies. It doesn't work with businesses that are more field services, trades, or manufacturing orientated. Typically work with organisations who have over 10 staff or are quickly growing to above that number. They estimate how many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution will take. Data migration from WorkFlowMax to ProjectWorks is all done by the ProjectWorks team with the help of our custom-built tool. So the client, the experience is minutes for the data migration, simply to hit download and send the file. It could require a few more minutes of answering some questions on their unique data set to ensure the ProjectWorks team gets it set up right. We know the devil is in the detail when it comes to data migration, and we can leverage our experience to ensure accuracy. Then there's some account configuration and training in the new system. That's inevitable. So depending on the user type, it can be from 20 minutes of training to 2 hours. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? Yes, we've done many migrations from WorkFlowMax and have a built-out tool along the way. Also, no migration is exactly the same. We can support a migration of any size or complexity. For example, we have tools to easily merge multiple WorkFlowMax instances into a single ProjectWorks instance, still collected to multiple Xero instances. What migration budget should people allow for? ProjectWorks is waiving the migration fee for WorkFlowMax users looking to transition to ProjectWorks, and there's no time limit in when you need to take this up by. What is the ongoing price range? ProjectWorks is also waiving 3 months of the monthly subscription costs for WorkFlowMax users looking to transition to ProjectWorks in order to aid in the transition. Pricing beyond the initial 3 months varies by organisation size and starts at Australian $400 for a 10-person organisation. Our sales team are also working on some specific deals for WorkFlowMax customers negatively impacted by the sunset. So if these customers chat to our teams, we'll do everything we can to help them be able to get into the right system for them. Can you support a migration or do you have a partner program? We work in both models and already have working in tandem with a number of current WorkFlowMax implementation partners before the announcement. Given the sunset, we are preparing to add a number of additional partners to our program. For clients who prefer to work with us directly, we also offer configuration and training by our expert teams. What solution does your solution work with? ProjectWorks is integrated with Xero, MYOB, QuickBooks Online, Jira, Azure, DevOps, and HubSpot. We also have REST API and direct data connection available for our clients to connect to their database through ODBC connection for any custom reporting they may have. What details are pushed into the accounting solution? Our Xero integration includes invoice payments, leaves, expenses and time. We also support connecting to multiple Xero organisations and have detailed configuration options for things such as mapping, tax, tracking categories and GL codes. The QuickBooks Online integration currently supports sales invoices, reimbursable expenses. When payments are received in QBO for sales invoices, invoices can be reconciled in ProjectWorks using the integration. The MYOB integration currently supports sales invoices. When payments are received in MYOB for sales invoices, invoices can be reconciled in ProjectWorks using the integration. So then the final one I've got here to talk to you about is Accelo, A-C-C-E-L-O. Accelo is a cloud-based client work management platform that supports all aspects of client work, including sales and quoting, project management, ticketing, time tracking, billing, retainers and reporting. The end-to-end platform provides professional service businesses with a centralised system to manage, automate and report on their entire client journey. With Accelo, leaders can confidently make decisions to maximise efficiency and increase product profitability. And the majority of Accelo customers are in the professional services industry, meaning they bill others for their time or on project basis. They focus on professional services, but has many customers outside the professional service segment. They offer, how many hours do you estimate a migration to your solution will take? We offer potential custom clients several options for migration where they can do it by themselves, have Accelo's implementation team handle the migration, or choose a hybrid model. The number of hours to migrate a client will depend on which modules of Accelo the client chooses to purchase and what they'd like to configure in their new platform. Can you support a migration pathway for existing WorkFlowMax data? We do have the ability to import high-level sale, project and ticketing details. Project templates, if you have them, can be imported as well. On top of that, we can import any company contact information you have from your database. All of our data imports are done via CSV. When it comes to individual milestones, tasks or time entries themselves on existing pieces of work, we do not have the ability to port that level of granular historical detail into the system. The migration budget will be different for each client depending on which modules of Accelo they purchase and the amount of data they want to migrate. Accelo is happy to provide a bespoke migration quote to anyone wanting to investigate Accelo more deeply. Ongoing price is the Plus tier is $24 per product per user per month. Premium tier, which is the most popular one, is $39 per product per user per month. We have an in-house implementation team that can handle any client migrations. Alternatively, if the client wants to take a hybrid approach and complete certain aspects of the migration, we can support that as well. Accelo integrates natively with over 21 different platforms and it provides a list of integration, and it also supports integration via Zapier. What details are pushed into an accounting system? When it comes to invoice details, the following details sync: accounts ledger, tax codes, product surface items, raised and due dates, invoice title, reference and number, line item description, quantity, rate, sale price, tracking categories for Xero. When it comes to bills, the following details are synced: title, reference, date and due dates, line item descriptions, quantity, unit price, account tax codes, tracking and categories for Xero only. Okay, so that comes to all of those ones that I actually have the details for. And I realise I don't currently have the responses for Scoro or Streamtime. So I will endeavour to try and get those for you and add them to the working live document that I'm keeping here and maintaining. So hopefully you found that podcast interesting and useful. It would be great if you see someone querying about WorkFlowMax to share this with them. And I encourage you again to sign up to my newsletter, which you can find at heathersmithau.com. And if you do have any questions, please get in contact sort of with the people that I referenced in this podcast or via the documents. That's probably the best people to get in contact with in regards to this. I'm just here trying to surface the information to save you some time in that initial research stage. Okay, cheers.